Hello everyone, long time no see, and super happy to get back to our town halls. And this is our first town hall where Jana is not participating. Maybe she'll join as a participant, but not as a leader of a town hall because she's on maternity leave until next year. And today I want to start with introducing UK, our new team member who is joining Jana and me as a late co-founder. We met Kate through one of our investors. We were looking for somebody who can help us with go-to-market, with marketing in general. And after working together for about 2 months, it became clear that Anytypes need Kay as a fully committed partner. And so here we are. Kay brings a lot of clarity, focus, and he is a truly great communicator. So please join me in welcoming him, and I'll hand it over to Kay so he can introduce himself and I think run this town hall. Yeah, welcome, Kay.
Just 1 second. We're just hearing some folks who have. So most people's audio is good. Some people have no sound. So the guess for us is going to be that it's on your side if you're having audio issues. So I think everyone should be hearing okay. So cool, great, perfect. Thanks everyone. Thank you for the welcome. Yes, as Anton has mentioned, I've joined the Anytype team, and I don't want to make today too much about myself, but Anton has said that this community loves to know more about the folks on the team. So I would love to just maybe do a quick introduction and then kind of explain a little bit of why I'm here. So, very simply, hello, my name is Kay. I was born in Adelaide in Australia, so I'm a Southern Hemisphere person here. I see most folks are from the Northern Hemisphere, so a bit of a minority from that aspect. I grew up in a city called Perth, which is the west coast of Australia. And then I worked a little bit in Sydney before working in Shanghai, and then ultimately moving to Berlin 9 years ago, which I currently live. But I also spent a lot of time working in the US on the east and the west coast as well. Really quickly, I'm a super avid snowboarder. Most people, if anyone's a snowboarder here, go snowboarders, hate skiers, joking. I'm a longboarder and also I'm into any types of boarding. Hope you guys got the pun there intended. I'm into Dune, Matrix, philosophy, and solar punk. If anyone knows what that is, if not, please look it up. It's a super cool movement, and I really love indie pixel art games. But really, I want to talk about like why I'm here. That's really the main point. And so I really love to look at ideas in at the edges, as I like to call them, parts of society, small groups of people, which I think are really valuable that the rest of the world needs to know about. And I really make it a lot of my life's mission to kind of find those ideas and bring them to the masses. And that's obviously what brought me over to Anytype. I really love what the team is doing. And I obviously truly believe in the vision, which is why I joined as a late co-founder of the team, and I'm really excited about pushing this project forward. Now that can just sound a little bit like woo woo. I just said some random stuff that anyone could say is super generic. So I want to dive a little bit deeper of like why actually I'm here, and why I think a lot of us are actually here. And it's really because like with most things, the starts of movements, we often see a problem, and that problem is something that we want to address. And so there's a lot of ways that we can talk about the problem. I want to talk about it from one angle on a really high macro level, on a technological level, and kind of what does that mean for me, like on a personal level. So on a super high level, the problem we can see in the news, people aren't really directly talking about it, but they're kind of talking around it, which is that we have this kind of like mass aggregation of power on a few technology companies, right? And so those are, like Google and Amazon and AWS and Microsoft Azure, especially these kind of cloud providers who essentially have all of these data being aggregated on these platforms. On top of that, you have these AI companies with all their data sets, collecting everyone's data, holding everybody's power in their hands. And essentially, this has even gotten to the point where countries are really falling privy to the powers that be that are US tech companies. Now, that's not to say that there's anything specifically wrong with US tech companies, but the challenge here is just that there really shouldn't be a world where a few companies control the rest of the world, regardless of which geography that they belong in. And so we've really seen that come to light with a lot of the problems I'm showing you on screen. Maybe some of you guys had the smart bed called 8 Sleep. I think Anton has it in his place. And when AWS crashed like a month ago, his smart bed went out of service. So people had to like wake up in the middle of the night and they were overheating because it was too hot to like pull the plug out of their beds because we're having this problem where everything's now connected to the cloud. And there's a lot of problems, right? Either Signal went down, there's all these creative rights issues going on with Adobe and AI as well, which are all just huge problems. And underlying this problem actually is what has driven this is really a business model called software as a service. For those of you who are familiar with the term, it should be self-explanatory, but for those who are not, I want to spend a bit of time to explain what it is. And what that is that if you think about it, in the past, when we used to buy software, you used to just, have it on a floppy disk or a CD, and you plug it into your computer, and then you'd use it, and you'd use it forever, and everything's totally fine, right? Like there's no internet connection. You always have your thing offline, and everything works. And the internet really brought real-time collaboration to the next level. And with that was this kind of mass aggregation of data all the way towards our company servers. And really, that's how everything works today. When you're using Notion, or you're using your email, or you're using like whatever it is, Slack and all these types of tools, like everything that you do, all of your data, all of your information is getting sent to a server, and those servers are owned by a few companies. And then that's getting sent back to whoever you're interacting with. And that's obviously not a big deal if you're just thinking about it as a few companies. But what's started to happen is that if it's many companies, but what's really started to happen is that this has started to become very, very few companies, not only when it comes to the software providers, but actually the infrastructure providers who actually serve all of those software providers. And so this software as a service model has really been the underpinning of why we have this kind of mass aggregation of power across the world on a technology level. And so what you try to do today is like, you kind of hope that your data isn't being used against your interest. You're kind of hoping that your data is not leaked or sold to others. And you kind of hope that your access is not cut off or lost, right? Your relationship with a lot of these companies is actually based on hope. And with Anytype, right, we think a lot about, what are we doing here? But couldn't we change this model in a way where people should own their data, they should have control, but at the same time, they shouldn't give up all their benefits of the convenience of having, cloud platforms and software as a service over the internet. That's all very, very functional. But how can we still get our ownership and our rights and our control and our authority and our autonomy, but without all of those problems of SaaS? And so when you think about this model, we can think a lot about taking this data and ownership away from the highest level of these servers and re-architecting that in a different way where we can still collaborate in a new model. And that's really what drew me to Anytype, this idea that your data can be local on device, that it can sync peer-to-peer, that you can self-host things and you can choose your different network providers, because this is ultimately a way better democratic, fair, and equitable technology that should power a society where everyone is treated fairly and equally. And this is really what's happening here on a technological level. And I know a lot of folks here who are into Anytype, or maybe some new folks in the community, maybe it's just cool, like, oh, it's a tool that's really great because it just works offline and it's really fast. That's totally cool and that's totally fine. And that's a great reason to be here. But I did at least want to at least shed some light on what is the kind of underpinnings of the infrastructure and the technology that we're building and why it's so important in the future. And so when I came across Anytype, it really thought about the fact that Anytype is building a new model for moving forward. And instead of going forward with a model called like software as a service, we're thinking about something called software as an estate. What does that mean? If you think about software as a service, you kind of pay as you go, right? You need to pay to have access to all of your data. But what if you always had access to your data, you always controlled it, and you only needed to pay for supporting infrastructure? So you could imagine your data or your estate, right? Something that you own that you can pass on to your own children, something being that you fully own and control at all periods of time. And all you really need is to be able to not be alone in an isolated island and connect with all these other people around the world. And that's why you need to have these kind of connecting utility structures. And if you always own and control and have access to your data, and it's always fully encrypted and in private, and you always have multiple providers you can rely on, there's no vendor lock-in, this is a truly equitable system where people are always in control, and it's not that your destiny is tied to a few small companies around the world. So that actually, as a vision, like truly struck me as being super amazing and incredible of what Anytype is doing, and that's really what made me want to dedicate myself to this kind of vision of creating, tools that empower digital independence. And, this strikes me a lot on a really personal level because, my family background are actually all in a kind of a war refugee kind of environment. And so I've seen kind of firsthand through my own parents, like the struggles of what happens when power gets aggregated and corrupted by a few small individuals or a few small entities. And then that can just have massive consequences across a lot of different people across many, many generations. So I know it all sounds a little bit heavy, but I do want to kind of shine a bit of light of the real importance of this vision of what we're trying to do when it comes to local first architecture and all these types of technologies that we're building under the surface of the Anytype application. So that's why I'm here, and I'm super excited about it. And yeah, I'm happy to meet you all, and you'll see me in a lot of the community chats and a lot of the forums. So please say hello. I'm looking forward to getting to know lots of different folks, and we're going to jump straight into the proper community town hall now. So we'll start with 2025 in a nutshell. I'm just going to do some really quick high-level notes. 156 quality of life improvements, which is super amazing. And we have 629 bugs squashed, which is super cool. This is higher than the amount last year. Only slightly higher, but still a lot. And a really, really big achievement. So it's really great that the team's been working their asses off really to resolve a lot of the problems that you guys are bringing forward to us. So we're super happy about the progress that's been made there. But actually, we want to give a lot of our time today to really talk about the most major feature release that happened this year, which I'm sure many of you guys are aware of, which is chats. And so I'm going to pass it over to Anton now.
Yeah, thank you, Kay. Yeah, I want to also support that. It was a super great introduction. So I just yeah, about the chats, it was very controversial feature, and many of you were surprised that we were building chats because many of you obviously came here for personal productivity tool. Even some of you just wanted offline version of Notion. And I want to say a few words about that. First of all, to cover why we made this decision, obviously because it was very important decision. So first of all our vision from day one was about enable collaboration without the cloud, as Kay mentioned right now. And if you look into the most popular collaborative formats, then we figure out that these are chats, pages, and lists in some form. Pages and lists we have in some early stage of development in Anytype. Yes, they are buggy, they are missing some features, but they are there. But we believe that without chats, there is no future in Anytype. And I want to explain you why. In recent years, chat uncovered itself as a great format to interact with machine intelligence, saying more precisely with LLM. Now, many people use chats as main productivity interface, and we see that if you look on the metrics of many productivity products, they're going down because many people just joining to I don't know LLM providers and using them, because honestly it's a great invention and it gives us so much of superpowers. And I'm sure almost all of you using LLMs, but every time we use it, especially we use a cloud model, we don't feel good. Because we don't want, I mean, personally, I can say for myself, I don't want my superpowers being blocked and controlled by some folks in Silicon Valley. So this is, I think, where Anytype really can thrive, because we can see there is a race of confidential compute happening. Local AI is getting better. We are on the peak of LLM era, I would say. Apple private clouds is around the corner. Even OpenAI now is hiring people to build their own confidential compute. So there is no doubt in year or in two, we will have access to private and relatively cheap inference. But inference is not enough because we interact with this inference through some interface. And you need to control the input and output of this interface. You need ability to collaborate with other people on this input and output. In other point, that in our opinion, there should be something more interesting than just a chat interface, because it's really easy to get lost in the chat interface. And this is, we believe, where Anytype can even more shine, because we had some experiments, and when you work, for example, in messages, you could have some artifacts like an objects, then you can organize them in list, and you can add, and you can build automations. So this way your interface become much more flexible, and you can get much more than the chats. So having chats, documents, and lists together, we believe, is crucial to make great user experience in the LLM. Yeah, and obviously it's not only about collaborating with LLMs, it's also about collaborating with your colleagues, with your family, with your friends. And we using chats as a team. Personally, we moved from Slack, and it's so cool, so handy to have these formats next to each other. It saves a lot of time, and especially it's great experience when you have it on the right foundation, when you have this peace of mind. Yeah, this is, I think, the reason. And what of one another, I think, technological consequence, because we couldn't build chats on the technological foundation that we had before. We have to build a new layer in our technology, which is called Any Store. It's a database which is synced through AnySync protocol. So this database gives much more flexible and comfortable interface for developer to build experience on top. And the chat was the first interface in Anytype built on that. And for those people who working with that, you can see that it works much better than our editor, works much better than our lists, and it gives much more flexibility to us in development. And in the coming year or two, we plan to move completely from editor. For example, we have from 2020 our code, so this is why it's so buggy. We plan to move it to this new architecture, what could open up opportunities to build feature requests such transclusions, for example, and it in general gives much more flexibility. And if you look a little bit further down the road, we can consider all the data in this database as just data, and then at some point you can use LLMs to have whatever, to build whatever interface to this data. Of course, obviously, we don't focus on this right now, but in the future, it's the obvious future where we are heading. So this is, I think, main points I wanted to cover. But happy if you have more detailed questions to cover in the Q&A.
Exactly. So yeah, just to build on what Anton has already stated, what has been really cool about building chats was actually that chats taught the team so many different things that we needed to learn in order to improve the stability for new features coming up in the future as well. So chats isn't something that's isolated to its benefits of using chat, but it actually will have very strong knock-on effects to other technologies as well. So as many of you folks are probably aware, we've already released chats as a channel. So instead of just creating space, you can create a chat channel in particular, like just focused on chats only. That's really good for the mobile experience. On top of that, we now have chat as an object, which makes it mean that there's multi-chat now within one space. You can have multiple different chat channels. So it behaves very similarly to something that you might expect in Slack. And then coming up very soon, or for those who are already on the alpha, you probably already have the experience, we also now have chats as one-to-ones. So you can, as we're showing you on screen right here, you can be in a channel with somebody else or in a space, and then you could just click on their profile and connect with them directly, and then a one-on-one chat will spin up and you can interact with them immediately, which is super, super cool. Obviously, notifications has now been available, so you're getting notifications on your phone. And with these kind of four main features of chat now being released and ready, effectively, we're actually ready to officially launch chat. We actually required to have all three or four of these components together to bundle them as one chat experience, which is why next week we're actually going to have a product hunt launch specifically for chat on Anytype, and would love to get your support. It will be exactly a week from now on Wednesday, and we have a nice little video going up that I made. I'm no professional, but I think it does a nice job in encapsulating the effects that chats will have on Anytype. So we'd love to get the community support once that goes live. Please support us. Go in there, upvote and comment and share, all that good stuff so that we can get this technology into more and more hands in the future. Okay, so we're going to have a lot of stuff in the Q&A actually covering a lot of these topics. So we'll actually go through a lot of these things in much faster fashion so we don't waste too much time on the update, but really get more time to the questions that you guys have. But before we do that, we definitely want to do two things, which is one is just to do some community spotlights. There's so many amazing people in our community that you guys have done great contributions on. And so we want to spotlight some of those things. And then we want to talk a little bit about the future roadmap as well. So the first thing I'd like to say is that we want to thank all the bug detectives, everyone, especially those folks on the screen. I'm not shouting out everybody, but at least the ones who have given the most amount of bug reports. Thank you so much for catching all of these bugs, especially before it goes out to the wider public, because then you're making the app stable, you're making it usable for everybody else. So thank you so much for all of your incredibly hard work and really heartwarming type of stuff that people would actually take out. They're volunteering their time to do this for us, which is super cool. So thank you for all the folks on screen, as well as all those people not on screen, because there's many more who are not on screen, which is obviously not possible to show everybody. The second thing is I also would love to thank everybody who's just provided tons of community input, the folks who've been answering emails, giving us insights onto different problems that we're having or different feedback, answering so many different areas, coming into the office and giving us user interviews, so many different types of folks who are really helping us to improve the product. Can't thank you guys enough for all the time that you volunteer for helping Anytype be better. So thank you so much. You guys know who you are, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. I also want to do a couple specific shout outs for a few key contributors to the wider community. Chronix1710 released this really crazy any gallery, just super jam-packed with value and goodness. You can check it out in the Any gallery if you like. And there's also a Reddit post that they posted showcasing a tutorial of how they use Anytype and how they believe people should understand it. It's super incredible, really informative, very comprehensive. Big shout out to Chronix for doing that. So thank you. Also want to shout out Curie, Piano Mac Power, and Siosu for all of the amazing contributions you've done to the community. You know what that means. You know how you've done it. So just putting it out there. And just many other people that I can't put on the screen. So I just wanted to at least put others there just to shout out them. I'm clearly missing folks, but I don't want to spend an excessive amount of time thanking everybody on the call. But it has been really heartwarming to see all of the contributions. And I really mean that. I'll just give a authentic story of why I actually decided to join Anytype. When I was first talking with Anton, I went through all the community survey responses. I read every single one. It was like hundreds. I can't even remember how many there were. And one of the answers that the community wrote to the question, why did you decide to pay for Anytype, or like why did you get a subscription? And the person's answer was, I've always wanted to support Anytype, but I just couldn't because I'm a PhD student. I don't have a job right now, and I have 2 kids. So I didn't have the financial means to, but I just finally decided to do it because I really believe in the vision of what you guys have done. And that like just super struck me as being like incredible, like someone in such a position would still want to support Anytype. And it's truly the case that Anytype has a really amazing community that's supporting, and I'm super excited to see it grow further. Okay, and so let's go straight into the future roadmap. This is what a lot of folks are here for the call, so we'll go straight into it. And Anton and I will just jump back and forward between talking about the various items. And first up is there's obviously going to be a lot of quality life improvements, so that's not going to change. A lot of the bugs that people are submitting, a lot of the small things, please don't be concerned that that's not going to be a focus. Even though we are working on major features, we'll always be focusing on quality of life improvements as well. And so that's always going to be at the core of things moving forward. But the first item will be discussions and threads. I give it to you, Anton.
So this is, we believe, crucial part for collaboration, because very often we want to discuss some exact documents, and for this right now there is no clear way. And also some of us get used to threaded discussions when you can fork discussions in different directions, and this is why we want to deliver that. So you, for example, if you work on a project, then you can discuss the projects project. In the project, if you work on specific task, you can discuss in a task, or if you have an article, you discuss an article. So the foundation that we've built with chats, it was exactly to polish the chat experience and really use it to deliver discussions and threads. So it would allow you to have even more structured collaboration. So you may not have even many chats, you just would want to have discussions and threads to cover mostly all use cases. Yeah.
Okay. Block editor.
Yeah, block editor. We receive a lot of feedback from you that our editor is clunky, there is enormous amount of bugs, and honestly, it's really hard to fix because most of these were written in a rush by a couple of people who is not with us anymore in 2019, 2020, maybe 2020, 2021, and it's built on the old foundation of Anytype. And we were discussing internally that it would make sense for us just to rebuild the block experience from scratch, meaning that you would have this very similar experience to what you have right now, but without bugs, much more smoother, much faster, and we plan to add some crucial missing features like transclusions that I mentioned. So this is coming. We right now still in looking a new team member for JS team, front-end team, who would lead this direction probably. It would be a long project, but it's essential, we believe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'll just add, just so folks are super clear, in order to build chat, Anton mentioned this thing called AnyStore, which is the foundational layer that got added to any OS on an infrastructure level that is way more scalable, way more faster. And that's why you can see if you're using chat, it's a super smooth experience and it's way less buggy than the block editor. So transitioning the block editor to this new infrastructure technology will just dramatically improve a lot of bugs and a lot of these other things, which is going to solve a lot of people's quality of life issues. And so that's definitely in plan for next year. So that's why it's definitely called Block Editor 2.0. It's not just like a branding thing, it's literally shifting old infrastructure to new. So it's a super big and exciting project for sure.
So this is another one, again, rebuilding lists to new infrastructure. So currently we have a lot of inconsistencies. We have queries, we have collections, we have data as an object, which is quite maybe implemented not in the best way, and we have on our roadmap tag as an object. And what unites all of them? All of them are lists. And yeah, forgot. And of course we have types also. So with this project, we want to address first of all the general consistency and try to simplify and minimize number of abstractions to probably one or two. And also within this project, we plan to address a lot of edge cases that you have when you interact with lists right now. And for example, right now, if you add in collection some properties, then it's hard to see where these properties are. I mean, you all know, a lot of them. I'll create a post on the forum, and exactly with this post, I will try to gather as much as I can feedback from you, so we can cover all of your use case. And I think the list 2.0 goes ahead of block-based editor because we can start it relatively soon. For block-based editor, we need more time for research. So that's basically would be tag as an object project within this project, and also formulas and probably all inconsistencies with current views that we have. So this is a very huge, and I'm super excited about this project personally. We already started working on that, not in terms of code, but in terms of developing not a philosophy, but the principles, how it should work.
Yeah, so if you're obviously a lot of folks in the chat here are hardcore users of lists, queries, collections, and all these things. So if you're interested in contributing your thoughts and your feedback, you're absolutely welcome to do that. You can either reach out to anyone in the community team or in the chat, or email me directly, and we're happy to get you involved and make sure that your feedback is heard as well. Okay, next one, we have tabs.
Yeah, this is simple. Many of you asked for tabs, and Actually, we have them. Razer have it on his computer. Right now is a challenge how to make great UX with the stuff. So basically design, UI, UX. I hope we figure out it very soon. So basically it's only what stops us from releasing them. And maybe in January they will come to your computers too. Yeah.
Okay, and we're going to do AI Ally next. And so I will jump in with an overall, sorry, it's a very noisy Berlin ambulance outside. AI Ally, I'll talk a little bit about on a high level, and Anton will add some extra information. So I know a lot of folks in the community, there's a big divide. Like some people are really pro AI and some people like really hate it and have a lot of skepticism. And we want to address some of those on a high level. So firstly, for us at Anytype, we think that there's not really going to be a future where AI isn't going to be a part of software, either directly, if not indirectly. And so the goal isn't to really stick our heads in the sand and ignore it, but rather think about how can we meaningfully include that into our product in a way that's like super helpful for users. And when we think about a lot of people's concerns with AI, it always comes back down to the same cause of what AI has issues with, which is that, it's not private. Everything is getting sent to some server somewhere else and everything's getting processed. So if we can use our local first architecture in some way to build you an ally that serves your interests because everything is local on device, then we can see this as being truly beneficial. So we don't call this like an AI agent or an AI, whatever you want to call it. We call it an AI ally because this assistant or this agentic capabilities of an LLM should always be aligned with you and your needs. And why is that super important? It's super important because on Anytype, you have all of your knowledge, you have all of your relationships, and you have all of your content structures in there. Now, what we want to do is to find a way to bridge that with some sort of safe, secure, private, whatever you want to call it, combination of an AI that can leverage these things in a way that's meaningful for you to help you do things faster, be it automations, be it either whatever it is, workflows, and just general conversational type of behaviors. So that's the high level that I wanted to share with the AI ally. And Anton, please feel free to add anything you'd like.
No, I think it's pretty clear. I think the challenge right now to figure out I mean, we already have it and testing it exactly how to bring it in a way that it would be really easy for you to use. So yeah, I think you covered very well. Just still figuring out. Hopefully, first quarter of next year, this is coming to your computers.
Yeah, we already have it functional and we've played around with it a little internally, and that's it actually is using chat, as you can imagine, the LLM obviously, and so it's building on the foundation of this previous feature. And honestly, we have some really cool stuff that we're super excited about. If we can get it across the finish line and make it polished and make it work reasonably, reliably, then we're super excited. But we don't want to share exactly what that is, not because we don't want to be transparent, but rather we don't want to set false expectations. But truly, we're really excited about the things that the AI ally will bring moving forward. So the next item we have, we're going to move a little bit, not just on the product side, but actually go a little bit towards more the go-to-market side, as we call it, or the community side. And the one thing we're going to launch is something called Anytype Learn. And we're going to try to build a space within the Anytype app that behaves exactly like your spaces that you have today, but is dedicated for you to be learning Anytype. And so that would have, all your onboarding materials, you're getting started, your documentation, your templates, your case studies, everything that you need in order to get the help and support you need with Anytype. And as you can imagine, if AI Ally is also ready, then you can also just chat directly in this space and get the support you need, be it a specific problem that you're having or more general knowledge things, general tutorials. And we hope that this will massively help to improve not only things for the new joiners, but even the power users. We think will gain a lot of value from this because there's always something new to learn from Anytype because the community is having so many interesting use cases within here, and we kind of want to consolidate all things like documentation, getting started, written tutorials, video tutorials, all of these things all into one space directly in the app that you can have access to. And so I'm personally really excited about this. It's something I'll be working on a lot myself. So if folks want to contribute to this as well from the community, as you all know, you're always welcome to. We'd love to solicit great community contributions. And yeah, we're excited to see how this will help many folks find Anytype much easier to learn in the future. So the next thing we're also going to do, I mean, it's hard to really point out specifically, but we're really going to work very, very heavily, really, really, really heavily. I can't emphasize this more than enough on making the onboarding better, making Anytype way easier and cleaner and simpler for new people to get to understand it from the very, very beginning. And so there's going to be quite a big overhaul on what that's going to look like, what that's going to feel like, even possibly to the point of adding even a secure way to do your account creation. Because right now you need a seed phrase. If you don't have a password manager, maybe a lot of folks don't know how to use that. They just feel uncomfortable. So how can we make that entire process from start to finish really, really smooth and get folks up and running with Anytype? So it's going to be a big project next year as well. The next one we want to do is obviously do more community showcases. Ever since I've joined, I've just been constantly blown away by the community contributions. So we want to showcase that as well. So do case studies, do blog posts, do video interviews, whatever it is, to just showcase great things from the community that can also help other folks in the community learn and use Anytype as well. We're also going to make some updates to the membership plans. And so you'll see these updates go live soon. The short of it is that we're going to offer seat-based plans, plans where one individual can buy plans for others, especially if you're running a team or you're working in an organization and you want many people to have memberships. You can do that all via one kind of owner account. And we can also going to have options where you can self-serve upgrades. So if you're on one plan and you want to upgrade to another, we're going to have a much more simpler system for you to be able to do that. So definitely see some more flexibility and options coming up to the membership plans moving forward. And the last item before we go into the Q&A, one of the big projects for us is to see how Anytype is used in more collaborative and structured environments, specifically teams. So this can be, as some folks mentioned in the chat, this could be student classes in universities. It could be a startup. It could be a nonprofit. It could be a volunteer organization. It could be a lot of different types of small groups of people or even larger working together. And we want to really pilot this to learn of like where Anytype is excelling and where Anytype is failing so that we can improve that experience. And so that's something we're going to be pushing forward very heavily soon, especially with the release of chats. And for the folks who are here, if you are interested or if you're working in a team or you see some use cases where you want to test out Anytype, please reach out to me directly. I'm really, really happy to get on a conversation to figure out how we can provide very one-to-one support on getting you guys over that hump of whatever it needs for you to try to use Anytype for Teams. And so, this is a big open call for everybody to send any opportunities for a pilot program my way. And we're excited to kind of make Anytype more collaborative for this feature. And with that, again, this is not everything on the roadmap. Clearly, we just wanted to do some highlights, but we're going to jump straight into the Q&A. We have pre-solicited questions that we've received via email and through the forum. So we're going to go through those first. And after we finish with those, we're going to get straight into the live chat questions as well. So feel free to throw your questions in the live chat. Dasha is going to collect them and then behind the scenes for us anyway, and then we're going to get to them all eventually. So let's start with the very, very first question, which is from underscore sky. Looking back at this year, what is a moment that Anton and Jana and or others found positively memorable while working at Anytype?
So there were many interesting moments, but of course we remember the latest moment when I received first one-to-one message in Anytype. I felt really wow. So because this is software I love, I use every day, and I receiving this we call it direct communication channel that nobody in the world can break and take from me. So it was very wonderful feeling. I would say another wonderful moment was before. I should have it said first, but I mean it was previous when Kay joined our team, when he got our offer and joined our team. So I think it was another moment. I mean, we had a lot. I think these two are the latest and the happiest for me.
Cool. So then the next question we have is also from Sky. What is something that Anton and Jana is very excited about for the future of Anytype?
I think in general, the roadmap we outlined today, we are super excited, and of course, as a business, we are super excited to reach self-sustainability as soon as possible, so we can be completely independent. We believe if we deliver on the roadmap, we will be there. Yeah. So just since 6 years, not many things changed in terms of excitement. We want to build this software and that many people would use it in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe can say something also on this. No.
Yeah, sure. I think that, when I first joined the team at Anytype, what was clear is that, this year, I mean, we're at December now, so I can really just say it was this year. There's really just been this deep reflective moment about really understanding what is this greater vision, what is the company and product strategy, and what does that mean for the long term of the future, and what is it going to take to be successful, to really build this kind of sustainable network of local first architecture applications and users all kind of interacting permissionlessly, decentralized, and independently of any kind of centralized control. And that deep reflection and understanding has, of course, led to a lot of great moments this year, but also some tough ones, right? And so by changing really core KPIs of how we measure success internally in the team, that's also led to restructuring and thinking about how that restructuring can lead to setting ourselves better for long-term success. So, we want to kind of be transparent with that, so even if we lost, kind of some firepower in one area of the team, with his plans to increase that in other areas, be it go to market and communication and education, because, we see so much importance and value of building this community moving forward, because, that's something that's just going to be essential for the success of the team. And so this is, it's been a tough year, but at the same time, it's been tough decisions with really good clarity. And so I think that's been kind of really exciting. It's been difficult, but at the same time, exciting way to kind of move forward. So that's something that I would definitely say was a big highlight. As well as, I say highlight, but let's just say it was a big sticking point and thing that speaks prominently to me this year. The second question we have is from Zochi. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, Xochi. The question is, how is Anytype's self-sustainability coming along? I'll answer this like super directly and be upfront. Anytype is not profitable. Okay, no way. We're nowhere near being profitable, and we're not fully self-sustainable yet. I would say, like most growing startups, still in investment mode, right? Focusing on building the best possible infrastructure and product while growing the community at the same time. And obviously, this is going to be a hard journey. If anyone here has worked in a startup or founded their own startup, you know how tough it is. And so we don't want to be, sugarcoating that in any way. However, there's a very clear path forward for us, and as I just kind of answered in Anton and I kind of shared in the previous question, there's really a clear path forward, and that's something that we're excited about. What we're really even more excited about is that the fact that there's a really core group of very supportive investors and community members who really believe in what we're doing. So that kind of makes things much easier to kind of forge ahead. And so I kind of understand that a lot of folks are asking similar questions in this vein, is because they're asking, oh, is Anytype going to exist in the future? I'm putting all of my data and all of my information in Anytype. Like, if the company's not going to be around, what should I continue to do this, right? And all I can say is that although no startup can guarantee their existence for like many years to come, I think you should continue using Anytype without any worries, right? Because our job to keep the vision alive, and we feel confident in that. And it's your job just to simply use the product and tell others how much you like it. And so I think we're in a good place. Obviously, things are always tough in a startup, but there's nothing to really worry about from our perspective.
Yeah, I want to add 2 points to that. One point is, um, if each power user would pay by a subscription right now, then Anytype would be almost profitable, I would say. So we are not super close. So just not so many people buying it right now. Another point, that whatever would happen, as Kay said, we don't know the future. We can't promise you 100%. We just have our commitment, and we can promise that we committed to this. But what's beauty in our software, that the code is open, your software is local, so whatever you're investing, there is no chance you lost it. Yes, if things go wrong, we do full open source license, and everything is in the hand of community. So I don't think there is should be any worry about that.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, and so now we have a lot of questions that are more related to specific areas. Ron Socks asks, is Anytype aware of the problems with the search function? Oh, believe me, Ron Socks, I experience the problems with search every day, so we are aware.
Yeah.
Anton.
We groomed today a little bit this project. We have it on a roadmap to fix. Yeah, there is a long list. We compiling it to start.
Okay, the next one is from MHA. When can we expect to get calendar view for sets, queries, lists on Android?
Unfortunately, there is no answer yet for this. We had one person on Android. Now we have 1.5, 1.5. So Android and iOS are kind of keeping up to desktop. If we would have, of course, more paying members, then we would invest more. But right now, no promise. It may come together with reworking list, but I can't commit 100%.
Yeah, and so Exodus asked a similar question is about the Kanban view on Android, and so the same answer would apply that Anton just shared. We don't know, but with the list 2.0 rework as well, a lot of these things could also be packaged together in that vein. So another question from Exodus, I think, the user should be able to design a default text style that becomes applied automatically after allocating a link to a text. Would it be easy to program it?
Uh, Unfortunately, I didn't hear. Could you please repeat?
I think it means like when you highlight some text and then you put like a hyperlink to it, like a URL, and you add it to it, would we be able to set a default text styling onto that, so that it looks, I don't know, pink or something automatically for all URL links, for example, like a text styling thing.
Mm, I think it's possible. Yeah, it's not definitely not on top of our roadmap. You can find the forum on the forum. There is a post about custom CSS, but I understand it's not exactly about that. It's more like additional customization. No plans for that right now.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think also when Block Editor 2.0 kind of gets done, then we can revisit a lot of these conversations too. Okay, CC asks, to start, how is everyone in the Anytype team doing?
I think
I
we're good.
think, yeah, I think both Anton and I have gotten sick lately, so we're not so well today, but we've been good, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. And then the next question is, since the team did some changes on how roadmaps work, how are priorities determined and other capabilities? For example, like calendar or quality of life improvements, like how do we prioritize things?
Um, we prioritize based on the impact, and we believe impact and how hard it would be developed. Basically, quality on life and bugs always come to each release, but the big projects we prioritize based on this and also a strategy. Yeah.
Absolutely. Any updates on the karma system?
No plans for this yet. Yeah, I heard, I read this questions. No, it's out of the scope right now because obviously there are many other things that needs to be fixed before that. It's just, I wouldn't say it's in the next 2 years even.
This next question I don't fully understand because of the phrasing, but I'll read it out. As advocate of relation seeing property taking over relation, are there any hopes of enrichment of functions for relations? Are we going to enrich the functions for relations?
Yeah, I think we can through this list project it would come formulas, for example, or the second degree relations we discussed, for example, that kind of additional rollups that you can traverse the graph through through relations. All of them will be discussed when we will be working on project list 2.0 projects. Yeah, there is a chance we deliver formulas for sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay, the next one this is all from the same person, CC. How will the implementation of Excalibur embedded in the new Anytype influence the implementation of handwriting in Anytype?
I don't think it's influenced somehow. It was easy to implement, so Razer did it. Handwriting is another scope of a project. We're not sure it's a priority for now.
Mm-hmm. Number 6, how will Anytype respond to chat control regulations in the EU, or any chance to facilitate Anytype's prospects? I can answer this one. So, for those who are not aware, there are a lot of chat control regulations happening across the EU. Essentially, what they're trying to do, in short, is to install some sort of backdoor for all chat and messaging kind of services, in order for the companies to be able to provide the users access, the users' data to authorities, and they use this under the guise of child pornography. Obviously, if that's happening, then they want to be able to go into people's devices, get their data, and obviously catch all the bad actors. I can't speak for everyone. Obviously, this is a very personal issue, and it's a political issue. I can say that I think that this is a very bad move by governments to be pushing for this type of direction, because it deeply infringes on privacy rights for a lot of folks. And there's really, really big ramifications of this. And the analogy that I typically use to explain to people why this is a bad idea and why this doesn't make any sense is, I use this analogy of like a kitchen knife. Right, at home, you have a kitchen knife and you use it to do many things, cut vegetables, do very productive and meaningful stuff. Somebody at home could use that for domestic violence and murder somebody. Now, does that mean that the government should ban or remove all abilities to have kitchen knives? There's a very dangerous thing that happens when there's this level of intervention within very, very important primitives, so to speak, of the way that societies function. And so it's definitely worrying that these regulations are being discussed. We as a startup have no real influence of this, obviously, because we're just too small to have any influence. But it is definitely something that we are watching from the sidelines, unfortunately.
Yeah. Just want to say that we would never. I mean, our technology not allows to this kind of behavior, so probably then we would not officially work in these countries where it's not allowed, but unofficially it could work still. The technology allows that.
Yeah. So just to be clear for folks on Anytype, like even if we wanted to comply, which we wouldn't be able to, because the technology of Anytype does not enable this, right? And so it is all end-to-end encrypted. So there is full privacy for all of our users. Okay. The next question is Shanta. Is this town hall only one shot, or is there a return of a regular town hall? There will definitely be a return of a more regular town hall. As Anton mentioned at the beginning of this call, Jana has actually been on maternity leave, and so Anton has had to shoulder a lot of work in her absence, and so it's just been a little bit tougher just for pure human labor type of reasons to do that. But 100% moving forward, there should be more regular ones. I can definitely hard commit to there'll be at least 3 next year. Plan to do them. We're thinking about a cadence of maybe doing this kind of like bi-monthly, maybe quarterly, or something kind of arrangement. And so we'll kind of see how things land, but definitely there'll be more town halls. Number 2, on the roadmap, there's questions around collections and lists and sets. And do you already have a vision for the things that will be integrated? For example, faster editing, faster navigation between items, modification between types. I think Anton already answered this with list 2.0. Essentially, when we move lists, collections, queries, sets, all those things, as you guys know it, onto the new AnyStore infrastructure, and we re-architect how we believe that thing should work with tags and all the rest of this, the entire listing system will be better than it is today. And so you can expect very, very big improvements next year. Not just improvements, like really like a paradigm shift.
Okay,
Yes.
with not so much time left, maybe we also go through the questions that were asked in chat, because I think people expect some
Okay,
answers.
cool.
And then if so, for those who would decide to be with us, we can continue on those. Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's do some from the chat. So then we have the first one. Where is it? Here. Steve, will REST API version 4 be released?
API is already released. There is some limitations in API, but it will be developed further. So we have, I think, developers.anytype.io site. I think it looks like that, where you can see documentation. We even have MCP, official MCP for Anytype, and the Raycast extension that Yannis kindly developed.
Yeah, but regarding the
Yeah,
version
yeah.
4, it's currently like ready to the review, and we are finishing the last things. And yeah, it should be deployed like in the next release, I guess.
Until the end of December for sure. So let's say so.
Cool.
Okay. So we will continue to folks feel free to jump at the leave the call whenever you please. We'll definitely stay on beyond the time allocated to answer as many questions as possible. So we're just going to keep continuing until our hearts stop. Kidding. So when the software supports formulas and calculations in the future, will it allow parameter-based calculations, such as computing a course grade from defined grade parameters?
Yeah, I think,
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris asks, my thoughts about quality of life going forward is that, are we going to have an option to have all files synced locally to mobile devices? Are we going to have, one, a quicker way to delete an object while permanently deleting images contained within? And two, archive state for pages to keep them away from a top-level search and stops them seeking to mobile devices?
I think I understood first two, and they're already in work. Exactly, Roma working on that. Roma working on the first, Sergey working on the second. So there definitely will be sync for all files. We are working. I think in December we launch in general huge chat improvements, which should images should work faster. There are a lot of improvements with files, and this is also coming together. Regarding, we plan to emulate hierarchy, so it would work quite smart. For example, when you create some object, it would remember the context in which it's created. For example, you created a page, and then on this page you created another page, and then you added some pictures, and then if you delete the parent page, then it would delete everything included if it's not used anywhere in the system. So it would make hierarchical kind of way of thinking more simple in Anytype. So this is coming.
Okay,
Third
Marcus
one,
asks,
I'm not sure I catched.
essentially it's archiving of pages. That's, yeah, but that's pretty much it. Yeah. So Marcus asks, could the block editor benefit from styling abilities like CSS?
We have it, but not like on the user level. You can do manually CSS, edit the CSS. Many people do it. We have a post on our forum, quite popular post on the forum or on CSS, yeah, which you can find.
Yeah, but we don't plan to add a native user customizability on CSS today. Alexander asks, are you going to make Anytype extension for Raycast available on Windows as well soon?
Unfortunately, I don't think I can answer on this question right now because I'm not aware how the situation is with Raycast extension on Windows. I don't know if they released it on Windows, Raycast.
Yeah, I think it's still on beta right now, and I think we didn't make any research regarding like changes we need to make in the current Raycast extension, and it's like a community owned, so we will be very happy to accept your contributions.
Great. Okay, so Thomas asks, will there be unlinked mentions, maybe inside a collection or the whole space? It's a feature I know from Obsidian where the program suggests a backlink.
Yeah, I think we can do it. Should be not hard to do. If you could explain exactly, or like point out on the feature requests which already exist, we can look into it. Yeah, there is fortunately there are so many feature requests that we can't go through all of them precisely, just don't have capacity for that. So you can speed up, but by directly sharing it in Anytype community chat, for example. So I look into it, or somebody else look into it.
Trey asks, is there an update on the Kanban view on mobile? We covered it earlier in the call. Essentially, it's hard to commit any kind of hard time for that at the moment. But obviously, Kanban, all the platforms will have feature parity eventually, but can't commit to a certain time. Field Note asks, will the REST API get access to attachment files or files soon?
Roma, maybe you can cover this question.
Sorry, I was answering another question. What was this one about?
Will the REST API get access to attachments or files soon?
Yes, I think it's already providing the local URLs for the files. You can download them locally. I think it was already in stage 3 API, but maybe I'm wrong. I will write this down, and in the stage 4 API, we will put this in the documentation. Maybe we lack this documentation.
Okay, cool. Michael asks, when will a role permission structure be implemented in Anytype? I would like more options than just viewer and editor. This is a huge project for us and absolutely something that we are actively addressing and working on. It's a very high level and strategic question, actually. And so it's really much more complicated than it seems because of everything being local first and end-to-end encrypted. So this is definitely something we're working on, and we do want to provide a better system for people to be able to do permissions in the future, 100%.
Yeah,
but at least you already.
Yeah, what's coming soon is admin role, and then change of ownership, and then also some limitations on who can do what within the space. Basically, regarding the whole system, there is a challenge. Not only connected to our cryptography, but in general conceptually, because it's a graph of data within your channel or space, then where the drive the line, because in other software like in Notion you have hierarchy, and it's really easy work with hierarchy in access control list, but in our system we have types, everything is interconnected. How, even from the user perspective standpoint of view, make it work? This is big project and important from us. If you can share your exact use cases on our forum, it would be really helpful for us to craft perfect solution. So if you can help us with defining problem.
Yeah, just to emphasize what Anton just said, if anyone has permissions related stuff that they need, then definitely giving us that feedback is super helpful. Letter asks, can we expect more editor functionality, like the ability to add comments or a link to specific blocks? Yes, a lot of these things will be addressed in the block editor 2.0 update eventually. But obviously, we can't promise specific features, but a lot of things will definitely be improved. Michael asks, will Anytype include analytics features? I run a martial arts space and I want to know which content users engage with the most.
We were discussing it internally. Unfortunately, right now, it's not a priority. Interesting to learn more about this. Yeah, I think it's clear use case. It depends if we bet on this kind of use cases. So right now, maybe not a priority, but if it's a project of quite short, we can think about this, because yeah, I agree. Sometimes when you publish a picture or something in Anytype, you want to see if somebody even looked at it or not. Yeah, it makes sense. Probably we can do what we can do in the relatively fast way. We could allow you to add some kind of identifier from external analytics service. So you just add, I don't know, whatever analytics you trust, add there, and then you use it for this. So not inside Anytype.
Alan asks, have you considered converging code bases to some open cross-platform framework like Flutter or Dart?
I mean, it would mean we need to rewrite everything from scratch. It just doesn't make sense in our case. And we already, a lot of our business logic is reused among clients because it's written in Go. In terms of front end, I never seen a really great Flutter application on mobile devices. Would be great if you can share these great examples. I tried to find, but never found.
So Lasse and Mark Antoine, you guys posted some stuff about API. I think we'll maybe do some sort of bigger community post about APIs soon. Maybe we'll do that in the Anytype community chat, and we just answer all API questions in one big bulk rather than doing them all bit by bit here. Okay, Danny Lowe, very vague ETA for publish the whole space. So multi-object publishing, web publishing is something we want to work on in the future, but there is no ETA for it at the moment.
Yeah, we started work on it. We have early version, but right now our focus on another. So we switched a little bit, but definitely will deliver it. Yeah, multi-whole space publishing. We just can't answer the precisely question right now. When?
Alexander asks, any plans for implementing 2FA for logins such as passkeys or YubiKeys?
It's in general a huge topic for us, authorization. We were looking into different solutions like Privy, Web3 Auth. We definitely need to implement it. Unfortunately, we don't know when. So probably maybe right now we are thinking the end of the next year. So there's something around that. Yeah, but definitely it would be a simple login like you use Google, then you have your passport like this Shamir secret share scheme. Yeah, but it's a bit challenging in our case.
Yeah, just for folks to understand, like making things permissionless makes it harder than just doing things the simple cloud platform way. Okay, Andrew asks, are there any plans to integrate notifications with other features in Anytype, for example, reminders for a task type?
Yeah, we are working on them. Yeah, we are already have designs, we groomed them. We prioritize in the end of this year if they go first or if they go a little bit later. I hope they go first. Yeah, before discussions, we'll see.
Yeah. Dave asks a bit of a cheeky question. Is there a single click transfer my entire Notion and my billing details to Anytype? We wish that we could easily do that. But as a bigger topic, I mean, more seriously though, yes, importing will always be something we want to do well and focus on, but it isn't easy, right? But absolutely, it's always something that we want to improve coming from other platforms to Anytype. Okay, we have ZMA asks, Anytype is based in Switzerland, though. That's not a part of the EU, so this law doesn't apply to Anytype, right? Switzerland has a similar law currently being floated, but they have to do a very democratic process to get that through their legislation. So it's all very complicated, but there are laws all talking about chat privacy, backdooring, and all these type of things across the EU at the moment. Michael, will chat expand into video chat in the future?
Yes, as soon as it's there is a demand for it, I think, but not soon. Yeah, it's not the good news. It's not a huge challenge to implement comparison to what we already built.
Okay, Clement asks, how about some merch? We have no physical plans for merch right now, but with a lot of ideas. Maybe one day when we get our software in better shape. Marco, is there already an ETA for the self-hosting within the AnySync network?
Self-hosting, no, not yet. What will be ETA? We need to discuss precisely. Hopefully, end of the next year. Guys from tech team said that simple self-hosting within the network quite relatively easy to implement. I don't know, Roma, maybe you can cover this.
Yeah, I think our current direction we want to go is that you can run some really easy, like light node of any type on your machine, and it will be part of the network, and it will store all your files, everything. Basically, next 3Ds, we are going to deliver this auto download feature. And if you will run the desktop client on your computer, which is like 24 hours, 7 days per week online, then it will be kind of your backup, and it will also be able to communicate in the peer-to-peer network of your local network. So I think this is one of the idea, because the current self-hosting is kind of complicated for people to set up at their home. And we want this experience to be like much more easier. let us know what you think about this. Like maybe we can have this after this auto download feature. Maybe we can ask the feedback of the community regarding this approach.
Okay, and then Access asks, is the Excalibur integration going to be expanded on to allow links to work or to be able to pull objects into the canvas? I think that would be handwriting in general, or just some sort of like sketching tool in Anytype in general to be able to do that, and not something that's actively being discussed today. Okay, so Utilisator, when can we expect better published to the web? Full collections in queries, it's so important. Absolutely, we could not agree more. It's definitely something that we're considering, but we just have no timeline on it at the present. But yeah, fully being able to publish multiple objects, including collections and queries, is something that's we understand the value of this. Meet, are we going to have a fully keyboard-centric navigation possible, moving between objects, accessing context menu and everything using keyboard shortcuts?
Definitely, it's very essential. As I mentioned, we are looking for the new engineer. When he joins, we would have more capacity to work on that. It actually would need, for this, we would need to rework many parts of the application to make it like keyboard first. Yeah.
Okay. Another person asked, I don't have the name. Tabs are great, but could we get an open new window in the Mac dock icon?
We can look into it, actually. I think it's a question to Razer, I think.
Okay. Kevin asks, updating on Windows 11 seems to be broken. Check for updates, doesn't show any upgrade. How about download? Is this a known issue, a fix coming? I think Kevin, maybe post this in the chat, or sorry, in the forum, and maybe we can have a look at this. But we'll definitely try to get back to you on this bug. Tori, is there an update on the linking objects across spaces feature?
Linking objects across spaces. I think, could you please clarify exactly what you mean? Because I think we right now have this linking across spaces.
Yeah, so right now, if you copy, Tori, if you copy an object link and you post it in another space, and then you click it and you have access to the other space, then you would just jump straight to that space. So that technically works now, but maybe you're asking for something different. Okay, Mikhail, in the course of my work, I often come across some micro bugs or receive requests for new features. Is there any way to send the accumulated list somewhere where the bug requests are briefly described point by point? I do think we want to improve the way that we solicit feedback from the community. It's definitely a thing that we're working on next year. Not to go too much behind the hood, but we actually need to improve how we as a team handle data and insights and feedback and all these types of things and aggregate them and then have those things affect our prioritization and our roadmap. So it's something that we'll definitely work on in the greater course of just trying to be better with receiving feedback in a more streamlined way. Shunsuke, the idea of using graph functionality to build automation sounds quite promising. What do you think about it? I assume they mean something like N8N, where you have graphs and you can build automation via that. That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's definitely cool to have it. Right now we don't plan to do it. Let's fix basics first. But cool thing that you with API, and then we plan to release headless client also, which basically can run always any type on some machine. Then you just can connect with end-to-end or N8N service, and then yeah, use other service.
Michael asks, as you add AI features, how are you making sure to prevent it from exploiting privacy? So as we kind of shared before, it being local, it being self-hosted, there's many different ways that we can do it. Confidential compute is another way. There's a lot of different ways that we're thinking about that. There's not really only just one solution, and actually providing users with choice is actually a key part of the angle as well.
Yeah, exactly. We just want to give you as maximum freedom as possible. Want to use local llama, use local llama. Want to use ChatGPT, use ChatGPT Connect. You want to use some powerful self-hosted machine, connect with it. So exactly, headless client could be a great part of this.
Okay, in terms of roadmap, what is the rationale for not prioritizing task management? Features like recurring tasks, reminder notifications, better calendar view. What is your team's views on this?
When we're prioritizing roadmap, we're looking into how when you're building cloud, the building something like this is just 1 day of work. Okay, 2 days of work, and then 2 weeks of testing. In our case, reminders and distributed system is quite a pain. For example, or notifications, we spend, I don't know, maybe half a year building these notifications, so they still private. And this is why, so when we are prioritizing, we're looking into how hard it is to implement them. We recently discussed this reminder feature, and it for us appeared that it could be up to 2 months to build these reminders, which is still reasonable, but then we can again reuse this tech we built for them for different use cases. We may prioritize them, yeah. Just the question if it would take more on if we believe there is another project that could bring much more usability, maybe we prioritize it ahead. But we are closer to the point to prioritize reminders.
I will also be working with some engineers, and we'll put out a video or a blog in the future explaining like how difficult it is for us to do one task that would be incredibly simple for a cloud platform. Just to explain, like when you're building permissionless, decentralized, and end-to-end encrypted systems, like why when something looks super simple that we should be able to do in like a week, like why does it take us so much longer to do? And so hopefully that can just maybe provide folks a little bit more context. I mean, you still want the features, we get it, but maybe sometimes some context is helpful when having to be patient for some of these things. ZMA asks, is the AI ally going to have content restrictions like mainstream AI models? I'm assuming not. Actually, yeah, we do think a lot about object restrictions for AI models as well. But Anton, you can speak more about this.
I don't think we can. I mean, we don't plan to make our own models, so that's your choice. You can bring whatever model you want. We unfortunately have no ability to block you from using model of your choice. But all these limitations, if I got your question right, they live within the model itself. But if the question about if there would be limitation which objects model can access in any type, that's this for sure. There will be explicit UI where you can choose what you can share, what you cannot.
I just noticed I got some private messages on Slack too. So Michael asks, maybe speak to the no lock-in design. So no lock-in is a really important philosophy because it's a way to make sure that you are actually having autonomy. And so no lock-in can mean multiple things. It can mean open formats, like the fact that Anytype uses Markdown. It can be the fact that you have the ability to self-host versus using a network provider or syncing via peer-to-peer. There's a lot of different aspects, but the essential goal here is that whenever you're using Anytype, you should not feel like everything of your data, all of yourself is locked into the system and you can't get it out, or you feel like the vendor is really preventing you from leaving. And that's really at the spirit of what Anytype is trying to do on a literal technical level. Okay, Regis asks, is there any talk about having plans for more storage but no publishing?
I don't know. Hard to answer. Please, yeah, be happy to discuss on the forum. So I mean,
I think Sergey has mentioned that we might be putting some add-ons where you can add on certain parts to your plan that you can increase things, but we'll look into this. It's certainly something that I think some folks on the team are thinking about. Is there a plan for users to buy Anytype names without buying extra network space? Again, we can consider this. Yeah.
Yeah. It's when we release exactly this proper self-hosting, it would be an option, definitely.
Michael, would there be an option to use public domain names in an Anytype space in the future?
Other domain names, not names.
Probably provided, yeah. You just register your own domain and point it to the Anytype. Yeah, it's technically it's possible even right now. We just don't have a UI for this in the application, and we didn't have enough user requests for this. So please post it somewhere, and we can work on it.
Steve asks, any plans to implement an Evernote import? I think at the moment Evernote is relatively low on our priority. Not many people are coming from Evernote, so there's no active plans at the moment, unfortunately.
But I know there are some exporters from the Evernote to Markdown, so we can export to Markdown and then import to Anytype. It should work this way.
Okay, Spring asks, have you considered touchscreen support for desktop?
No.
No. I just think that would only be Windows as well. I don't think you really do touchscreen for the Mac OS. Shamper asks, any chance to have publish to web for self-hosted on your own hosting?
To be honest, it's not. I mean, we have a really scarce of resources, and spending them on building for self-hosters publishing, we would not deliver some features for people who are paying. As code is open, you can build it yourself. That's the case. Yeah, future, when we have more resources, we can do it. We are not doing it not because we wanna lock it, but just because it's not the right thing to put our efforts in.
Okay. Ulf asks, hey Ulf, nice to see you here. How are you using Anytype to coordinate, prioritize, and collaborate on your own development work? Do you use it to manage objects like epics, user stories, and tasks, and their relations in Anytype or elsewhere? Yeah, so for me, I just to give folks a history, I'm a hardcore user of Notion and Slack, and I've pretty much completely been using Anytype since, and I use it for really everything. And actually, we can see so many different ways of using Anytype for a lot of different workflows, from feature requests to bug tracking to just a lot of different things. Actually, most recently, because we do a lot of stuff, obviously, with our investors, we built our entire data room inside Anytype as well, which was like a super cool and really fun process. So we can chat with people directly about, all of our strategies and our roadmaps, and share things very, very uniquely in a really cool and safe, private way. So we are definitely using Anytype in unique ways, and we're always excited to see how other people are using it as well.
Yeah, but for exactly task management as a team, we don't use it because it's not ready for that. So for development, we use Linear, and someday we move to Anytype too. So right now we moved from Slack. So knowledge plus discussions, and when it's ready, we have a list of things that we need to finish before we can move from Linear, because Linear obviously is a great software too.
I'm going to jump back to some really important questions that we received via email. And so we just go through some of those, and maybe we just spend another 5 more minutes, and then we can kind of end it there. And the ones that we didn't get to, maybe I'll find a way to answer them in written and send it to the people. But Shamper asked this question. I think it's in vain for a lot of other questions, which is a quick health check. Is it possible to receive, for us to share numbers of active free users or numbers of paying users? And so this is in line, I guess, with the previous questions that we received, like, what's self-sustainability like for Anytype? And it's really not very useful for us just to throw random numbers out there without any context, right? Because it can be a double-edged sword for us, right? And so what I'd rather do is to tell you guys a very transparent and clear story about our metrics. Our metrics right now tell us that the power users who get Anytype, who really understand Anytype and who really use Anytype, we have really pretty incredible metrics, right? So they really use Anytype not only for a long period of time, but they even increase their usage over time. And when you look at the health of a product or a business, one of the most important numbers the trends you want to look at is kind of what we call like a cohort retention curve. And when you see that amongst the power users, that it actually goes up over time, it's a really, really healthy and positive signal. Now, that's one good thing. Now, one of the really bad things that we have, to be transparent, is our activation really sucks. Most people come to Anytype and they're just like, okay, I don't get it, and then they just kind of leave. And so that's something that we really need to work on, like making it way easier to understand Anytype, to use it, and get to the point where you see the benefits and value of it. And so that's why we're working heavily next year on stuff like the Anytype Learn, the new onboarding, and more tutorials and all of these types of things, because that's really a big hindrance for us at this point. Okay, and then we'll do just maybe a couple more, because we have like 3 minutes left. It's been very hard. Jason22 asks, it's been very hard to move things around from one space to another space. Is there any plans to make things more easy?
Yeah, we are right now exactly working on that, facing this problem ourselves every day, and really I'm going to fix it very, very soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's really hard to use, especially when you have such permissions as you have in Anytype. So you have your private space, and then you often want to move some things from private to shared.
Yeah, and Jason22 asks another important question, which we've kind of answered, but I want to do a more direct answer. What if you only want to share specific parts of your space and not the whole thing? So as everybody who's aware, using Anytype, once you're in the space, you can't really do sharing of specific objects, and that goes into our entire topic that we've talked about, which is permissions. How do we do permissions, and how do we do that in a way that makes sense? And that's something that we're actively working on these days.
Yeah, again, please, if you have some specific needs, just write very specifically about them so we can address them.
Sorry for coughing on the call, guys. It must be very annoying, but both Anton and I are sick, which is also why we're not physically in person together. Okay, and so maybe we'll do the last question. Which one should we do for the last? Do you have you ever thought about duo or family or couple plans for Anytype?
Actually, we think the current plan is kind of family plan because if you buy account, then whatever spaces you create, I think up to 3 people can use them. So and all limits only applies to the owner, not to 2 people. So basically, if you create, I don't know, several spaces, then your family can use it. Yeah, if you have more specific request, we're happy to work on that. Yeah, supporting families is a good thing.
Okay, great. We had so many questions. There's a few more that we didn't get to, and again, I'll answer them via written in the future. But thank you everyone for joining us for this call. Just a reminder, we have the product hunt launch for chats next Wednesday. We'll send out an email notification for it. Please support us. Please share and tell your friends and family about us. That'll be really, really helpful, and we obviously greatly appreciate the support. And yeah, thank you today for your time, and thank you for being here with us. Oh, Jana's there. There you go with the little baby. Hi, Jana. Okay, thanks everybody. We'll see you later.